Yo guys, what's happening? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm here for the Chinese race, guys. That was not necessary for me. Pedestrian in a pit lane, for God's sake. Excited, guys. Come on, Lewis.
Alongside me, there is a big gap on row 3 where that man, the defending champion, and his teammates are the defending constructor champions, should be filling. Yeah, such a shame to see both McLarens. Here's Oscar Piastri, so both drivers still in the car, but seems to look a bit calmer on Lando Norris's side of the garage. Such disappointment so early on for McLaren. Ted Kravitz is down.
So both McLarens are in the pits.
This is the worst possible start for McLaren ahead of this Grand Prix. So we're just waiting for confirmation from McLaren that it is a similar issue. The strange thing is that nothing's changed since the sprint race yesterday, in which both McLarens obviously can start up and then finish. Same to say for the Grand Prix qualifying, where the cars were running fine. Nothing's changed between then and this morning when they tried to fire them up. They're just having these electronic problems. And whether it's a problem with the ECU or others, or other bits of it.
Yeah, come on, Lewis. Let's get a good start with that. Come on.
Waiting to find out. But yeah, they carry on like this. Well, they can have any cars left on the grid. Yeah, I can hear some engines running up, but it doesn't look good for picture now. No, it certainly doesn't. And Audi with Gabriel Bortoletto, they're still investigating the reasons behind the necessity to push him off the grid. And that's the way the grid looks when the youngest pole sitter in Grand Prix history, Kimi Antonelli, and his teammate George Russell alongside him. Antonelli, third time of asking this season, needs a good start. He has done it in testing, just not when it matters.
Come on, Lewis, let's get a good start with that.
Really matters. So pole position for Kimi Antonelli. Let's see if it's third time lucky for the young Italian.
Guys, how are we feeling?
As the countdown then towards 3 o'clock in the afternoon here in Shanghai.
3 o'clock in China.
And we hit 3 o'clock and we've got a formation lap for you. On this, the day that 11 years ago, Max Verstappen made his debut in Formula 1 as a 17-year-old in the Australian Grand Prix. He was teammate to Carlos Sainz that afternoon. And Carlos Sainz was also making his debut when he outraced Max Verstappen on that particular occasion. When it comes to the race here today, on-stop is the favourite strategy. If anyone starts on the soft, well, Verstappen and Hajar are, they're taking a bit of a gamble. Given what happened in the sprint yesterday, the hard is very much the favourite race tyre. One stop on paper looks like it is the fastest strategy, but tyre grading is so high around this circuit body, and that can determine whether it can continue. Sky Race Control for us this afternoon. Bernie Collins, good afternoon, Bernie.
Hello, Crofty. You want some strategy chat?
Always.
Yeah, so I think the 2-round start of the soft, they've got two options then really, don't they? They're either committed to that 2-stop, which will have a very early stop lap, anywhere really from around lap 10, and then 2 sets of hard tyres from there. Or do they think they can stretch a single hard tyre, use the soft off the start line to gain some positions, and then have an early pit stop onto the hard
This
tyre?
formation lap is run by 150 then.
And then they can make the decision after that, Crofty. They can decide, depending on how that hard tyre presses. Nobody running 2 hard tyres at this event. Nobody really knows. Nobody knows what the graining is going to be like in these conditions on the hard tyres. So if anyone stops early onto that, is taking a gamble.
And even if they'd have all run the hard tyre yesterday, the track temperature is about 13 degrees cooler than it was for the sprint race.
Yeah, both McLaren are in the pits. Some issues with them, clearly.
Get into the race itself after Melbourne last week, where he didn't get into
But how the Ferraris? Yeah, they are well behind.
It's
the kind of scenes that I expected at the first race just 1 week ago at Melbourne. Probably not the second Grand Prix. I would have thought teams would rapidly get a handle on the reliability issues, but yeah, that's always expect the unexpected in that regard, and in a new set of regulations and cars, as we saw the Red Bull of the
Hamilton is such a clever driver. Look, he's going to make them wait so the tires get cold, like he did in Saudi 2021. And Max was complaining that Lewis was taking time to come on the grid, and then he got into turn 1.
different issues.
Right here, guys, everyone's. Everyone is lining up at the grid now. Come on, please. Come on, Ferrari. Lewis. Come on, Lewis.
There's a different issue for Lando Norris on the other side of the garage.
Look at that.
There's the front row, Mercedes locking themselves into position. And Kimi Antonelli can't become the youngest race winner. Max Verstappen's got that on Spain in 2000.
Come on, Lewis, let's get a good start, brother. Come on, please. There's a massive gap behind the Ferraris because the McLarens are not there. Oh, you can reverse as well.
And he just reversed back a bit because he was going straight to where Oscar Piastri's car should have been.
Last couple of cars.
that really throws you as a driver when you see this open space.
Last couple of cars, guys.
Just to go into
Right, here we go. What the hell is... I'll grab power as well. Right, guys. Grid is set. Green flag. Come on, Lewis. Please start. Come on, Lewis. Come on, please, brother.
Lights out, away we go. Much better start from Kimi Antonelli. Lewis Hamilton's coming right at him, and he's already won.
Lewis, into turn 1! Go on, Lewis!
Hamilton ahead of Charles Leclerc. Antonelli on the inside will try and hang this out. George Russell down in fourth. Gasly with Hadjar on the inside of the top tire.
P1 for Lewis! Great start for Lewis! Come on, let's go, Lewis! Throws that, Lewis!
Antonelli manages to hold on to second place. We've got someone running wide in the rear.
Let's go! P1 for Lewis! Come on, Lewis! Great start for Lewis! My brother! Let's see if we can keep the position now.
Right, so behind Behrman, Isaac Hadjar, and then the Alpina ahead of them of Pierre Gasly, then George. That was a late move to the left hand. Behrman goes wheel to wheel. Hadjar's been squeezed out off the track. Hadjar says, oh, might have a little moment here on the inside to get past the Haas, and he does it. And he sends Ollie Behrman wide onto the right.
Hadjar spins.
Whoa, what a skirmish on this opening lap. Isaac Hadjar.
It was a good move down the inside from Behrman, but he had to go right off the circuit and had to give the place back because that's very close.
Very close. So Lewis 1, Antonelli 2, Leclerc 3, Russell 4.
Franco Colapinto Lawson actually went off the track. Lindblad has been overtaken by both. Fernando Alonso is up to 10th place as he did at the start in Melbourne. And Hadjar being told to box and to come into the pit by his Red Bull team. And the front 7 and 5 are pulling away behind. There's all sorts of scraps going on. That's Carlos Sainz trying to get past Fernando.
Great start from Lewis. Come on. Let's go.
Then behind these two, Max Verstappen, another 4 stars from Max Verstappen from 8. He's down to 12.
Hadjar coming into the miss from the huge vibrations, and as we expected on that high-speed spin that he had, he's had a bit of getting licked up from the back of the Ferrari. He hasn't made any contact with anyone, so here comes Hadjar on the right-hand box on the screen. So yeah, they had to replace all 4 of those tyres, hopefully no further damage to that Red Bull. But he just lost it with cold tyres, with that deployment, that huge amount of power going through the rear axle on the exit of that corner.
Right, Lewis Hamilton, lap 2, leads the Grand Prix. The Ferrari starting 3rd, led the first lap on this particular occasion. Kimi Antonelli is right with him. Charles Leclerc is right behind Kimi Antonelli, and George Russell is right behind Charles Leclerc. It's what you would expect. Ferrari, Mercedes in 2026. These are the two teams that seem to have adjusted to the new regulations the best. And there's already a gap opening to Pierre Gasly in fifth. There goes Kimi Antonelli past Lewis Hamilton down towards the hairpin, under braking, and can Hamilton fight back? Not on this occasion. Is he though going to deploy extra battery to try and boost his way out of that penultimate corner as Oscar Piastri gets out of his car? 2 Grand Prix, he hasn't completed a single lap in either of them in 2026. Antonelli has, and he now leads on lap 3. Half a second gap over Hamilton. There's George Russell behind Charles Leclerc. There's George Russell ahead of Charles Leclerc.
George ahead of Charles.
Said before the race, the Ferraris are going to have to work together to try and put a stop to the Mercedes eventually working their way through. They believe they've got faster race pace, and they showed that yesterday. But I was expecting, or half expecting, Lewis to make a comeback down towards turn 1. He didn't do that, but with that extra boost of energy from the battery pack from Antonelli, it's still not over until the end of this lap properly. Let's see how it works out. But remember, with the overtake mode in function, that car behind, the second behind the car in front, gets that extra half a megajoule of energy that they can use. And Kimi Antonelli putting that to good use now.
Franco Colapinto is running 6th behind his teammate Pierre Gasly, and he's on the hard tyre. This has been a fabulous start for Franco Colapinto, the only driver last season to be racing this season that didn't score a point during the course of last year. Got the battery graphics up for you, and overtake enabled for Lewis Hamilton. He gets that extra half a megajoule of allowance. That should be helping him down the back straight, but Antonelli seems to be streaking away.
And Russell will have that enabled as well, as will Leclerc, because they're all definitely within a second of one another. So Hamilton has that advantage this lap on Kimi, and we've got to see whether he's still within that second. I believe he will be at 8/10 as it stands at the moment, and they've gone through that.
So Antonelli, Hamilton, Russell, Leclerc.
George, here comes George Russell. What a boost down the first part of the straight from George Russell. He pressed the magic button there, and the car said, "Let's go." George Russell up into second place. It's 2 Mercedes, 2 Ferraris on lap 4. Antonelli leads now from his teammate, and that shows you the power at 470 brake horsepower at its fullest potential to absolutely blast past Lewis Hamilton. After Charles Leclerc comes Gasly and Colapinto on those hard tyres, so he's going to go a bit longer on this stint. Lawson on the medium, Ocon on the hard, Lindblad on the hard, Verstappen on the soft, trying to make
Come on, Lewis, let's get out the DRS zone now from Leclerc. Come on, you know the Mercedes are fast, so
Gabriel Bortoletto and both the McLarens, the defending constructors champions, out of this race.
some of the both McLarens are out, guys.
Massive disappointment for them. Noted by race control for causing a collision. Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas, who in their last race before they joined Cadillac came together in Abu Dhabi. 2 teammates though coming together. That's not what Cadillac need at the start of their F1 adventure.
That's not the reason why they chose those 2 mightily experienced racing drivers to make contact with one another. Maybe they got caught out in the chain reaction. We'll have to wait and see. But you'd like to think that both of them could survive
this one's locked up. I think it could be Russell.
corners of the first lap. So
It's lock-up from George Russell.
it
Just
was,
going into the
and that's allowed Hamilton just to close back in on the back of Mercedes. But these 2 Mercedes. I wonder if Hamilton's got a bit of a different game plan here, because he tried yesterday in the sprint to fight it out with George Russell. Got a lot of front braining and then fell back and lost out to his teammate eventually. I wonder if he's just thinking of the long game here. Take those tyres, maybe try and come back at them later on.
Verstappen's thinking on the soft tyres. He needs to make gains, and he came into that first turn
Verstappen too late.
extra speed. Managed to get past Arvin Lindblad, but couldn't keep the car on the track. So opportunity there for him, but opportunity not taken. Let's go to Bernie Collins in 2 seconds.
Here comes the restart.
Kimi Antonelli doing what his teammate did yesterday.
So both Ferraris got great starts.
Cover off the fast starting Ferrari. So they said, let's go around the outside.
And Lewis went to look to go to the middle of the 2 Mercedes, and then thought, okay, I'll just try it round the outside of you as well then. Made that work, but Leclerc right round the outside. Look, Russell tried to put himself Antonelli tried to put himself on the inside, and but Antonelli just about had enough momentum to hang on to it.
just at the bottom of your screen, you might have seen Sergio Perez trying to find a gap that wasn't there, hence the contact with Valtteri Bottas.
Leclerc got a good start as well, but he's got his teammate right in front of him, so he couldn't carry any extra speed in towards turn 1, and that's why he had to eventually...
They keep it good with the Mercedes, to be fair with you, but the adrenaline is slowing them down a bit. But also doing well keeping shots behind, which is good.
Let's see what it looked like on board with Max Verstappen.
Bob down again.
Max Verstappen had another bad start, they're down again.
On the left and the right.
How frustrating must that be? Once again, for Max Verstappen to see cars just appearing from either side and shooting past it. This is the gap that wasn't there. Sergio Perez.
Oh, yeah.
Idiot Perez.
Teammate round, I think, and himself in the process.
You can kind of see that one happening a few metres before that.
No further investigation by the stewards, and that was Isaac Hadjar losing it all by himself.
It was, cold tyres on the exit. This is the move from Behrman. He just couldn't hang on to it and runs out wide. If you're able to take a car by then going off the circuit, you have to let them bite. But Hadjar was passed anyway. And look at that. I mean, Hadjar.
Ollie Behrman, you're driving straight to the side of a Red Bull there. Great reactions. This was Max Verstappen losing.
Bloody hell, Max on a run, why didn't he?
He had that massive moment.
Yeah, and that snapped in the mid-corner. So, sitting there 2.8 seconds back, just really nursing things at this stage of his tyres. I've got a feeling that the car has a bit more pace in it. He's just staying out of the wake of the car in front of George Russell, and that's the best strategy when it comes to tyre graining. Tyre graining, by the way, is when the tyre starts to blister
It's
up.
close between them. Good start so far.
Usually starts around the middle of the tyre, we've been seeing in testing, and so all the drivers be aware of that. And it's at its worst when the track's cold and when there's less problems and start to brace. So these are delicate times. Verstappen just going through. See that darker patch on there, so inside, close to the inside shoulder. That's the grade that we're talking about. So that's what the front runners don't want to happen at this stage of Grand Prix.
Let's see if Max Verstappen can get past Arthur Lindblad this time and make it stick. No is the answer. Lindblad had that defended very nicely indeed. And you can see where they're both using battery in the overtake mode there, highlighted for Max Verstappen. That extra half a megajoule of energy following so close to the racing course. That's a real struggle for Max out on the track. Benny Collins at Sky Race Control.
Yeah, two quick things, Crawford. So first of all, Lewis Hamilton's been on the video and said he can't keep up with the guys in front. That's been his message to Ferrari. And then secondly, this man here, Verstappen, has been told to try and make progress on these soft tyres if he can, but without overstressing them, which seems to be a struggle currently.
And seems to be a battle that he is not winning currently. Antonelli 1.5 seconds ahead of George Russell, 2 seconds back to Lewis Hamilton. Within a second, Charles Leclerc. Gasly running in fifth. Franco Colapinto, do you remember the Singapore Grand Prix in 2024? It was the only time that Colapinto has ever completed a lap in the top 6. Just the one lap in the top 6. Well, he's done 7. He's done 6.5 so far. So a shout out to Franco Colapinto. He's all on his own, but he's currently in 6th place.
He got a hug from Flavio Briatore yesterday.
If Mercedes start fighting, then Lewis will close that gap. This long game, just make sure you keep Leclerc behind. You're doing a good job. Second behind.
One remaining Audi and the one remaining Williams still in this race. Hydraulic issues for Alex Albon, forcing him out of this race.
I think one of the things that's making life pretty tough for Max Verstappen, on top of it, the grading he's got those soft set of tyres, is the fact that Lindblad is also closing in on Liam Lawson. So he's on the attack, and Lindblad's driving another phenomenal race here.
And I think the right strategy as well, stick him on the hard tyre, go long on this first stint. Now you're running a risk if a safety car comes out.
Times are dead, Max says.
Hard tyre is better than soft tyre, I think, for the opening part, as Max is now proving.
Yeah, we saw Liam Lawson running those hard tyres yesterday in the sprint race and really started to make good progress around about that 8 to 10. So here we are again at this stage, but of course, much more fuel on board compared to a sprint race. So it's going to make life even harder for the tyres. Just you slide around more, causes more friction, and that opens it up even more. So yeah, drivers that aren't being overly careful with the front tyres here, and it is a front limited track, as Jack Gilner was saying.
A-Lab's gone, guys.
You know, it's easy just to
Antonelli from Russell, from Hamilton, from McLaren.
slip into it, too much understeer, and sort of
15 to 21. Soft guys, box.
13.
I'm guessing 21 to 30 is mediums.
So your pit window starts on lap 15, Max. He's got another 6 or 7 laps to go as the two racing bulls have a little swap around. Do they? No. Swap around and then swap back around. Lindblad locks up and that allows Lawson to go through. If you were down on the pit wall at the moment with the racing bulls, would you just say to Liam, look, Arvid is on a completely different strategy to you, and it might be better for us as a team to let him through? He's on the hard side, he's going to go longer than you anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Different strategies. They would have been through that in everything before even starting the race today, way before starting the race today, maybe even last night we'd come up with this strategy between the two of them, but that wasn't Lawson fighting him. He just, had Lindblad just locked up and gave him that opportunity back.
Guys, we are reviewing. Yeah, it's okay, I'm just going to lose time. Yeah, because the other thing, of course, Liam Lawson is going to lose time fighting a position with Arvid Lindblad.
He had to repass him. Here's the replay again. So Lindblad goes for the overtake, and it was fine. Lawson wasn't fighting at all. But that late lockup just caused this situation where Lawson's then come back on the road and say, I was planning on letting him by there, but what a sad scene. 2 races in a row.
Academy Awards in LA tonight. The F1 movie up for 4 of them. Late Oscars Day here in Shanghai.
Very good. Very bad at the same time.
It's not something I really want to say either. I'm absolutely gutted for Oscar Piastri. This is not the start of the season he envisaged as he went back to Melbourne during the winter and prepared for a new campaign. Here is the 2 racing bulls swapping places. Meanwhile, behind them, on the inside, Ollie Behrman fancies to go at Max Verstappen, and I don't think Max Verstappen has got much grit to try and defend with, but he's giving it his all. Liam Lawson is coming into the pits, and Max Verstappen is coming into the pits too. So we've got a medium compound runner and a soft compound runner making a pit stop on lap 2.
Box.
Ted Kravitz is down in the pits. We can go to you.
Yeah, that's about right for 2 stoppers. So we'll see how Max and Liam's races evolve from here. I've got the info from McLaren, Crofty. They're 2 completely different electrical issues. They are related
electrical issues for McLaren.
So it's an interface between McLaren and Mercedes. A completely random set of circumstances, the team tell us. The cars were fine when they came in for qualifying. They were fine in the sprint race. Just a terrible coincidence that both Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris should have issues such as that. A coincidence.
Stroll's still doing a safety car.
And they're both out.
Thanks, Ted. Lance Stroll could be out of this race. He might have kept the engine.
This is going to be a safety car.
Comes to a halt at turn 1. Running down in 18th place. Aston Martin not necessarily looking to go.
So Hamilton's paused for down now. He's pulled a safety car. Box the Ferrari right now. Box him.
Now it's a full safety car. Lewis Hamilton, Bernie Collins was saying they're just pulling away from the 2 Mercedes. This is going to help him.
Yeah, Coffee, and I think everyone who started on a medium or soft tire, this is an opportunity.
Box Ferrari, don't be stupid.
For Max Verstappen, he's just taken a full pit.
Well done, Ferrari, well done.
He's going to get a cheap stop under this full safety car.
So into the pits, they're double stacking at Mercedes, and not a last year, but 2.9 seconds is okay. George Russell next to stop at Mercedes, and he's going to come out wheel to wheel, I think, here with Lewis Hamilton.
Are you sure?
A bit of extra time here. He was in closer to Hamilton. Russell was with Antonelli.
Russell stays out and gets out just ahead of Lewis Hamilton. They were going down the pit lane. The hard compound tyre runners will stay out and not pit here. So Franco Colapinto has moved up in a 2nd place. Esteban Ocon 3rd, George Russell 4th, and then Lewis Hamilton 5th. He's lost out to Lindblad, as you mentioned, Anthony as Charles Leclerc. Hulkenberg hasn't stopped as 8th, Gasly is 9th, and Behrman in the pits from 10th. And there's Bernd Mailander in his 501st Formula 1 Grand Prix. Well done on 500 degrees as a safety car driver last time out, but we didn't see it on the track in Australia. Burnwell had been called into action very early on here, and that is Lance Stroll. And they're not giving him a Honda mode then to get back. Oh, ouch. That's what you're saying. That's not the way he wanted to get back to the pits today.
Not quite the same technology as the Formula 1 hybrid power unit, but these were the kind of scenes we expected from Aston Martin all the way through testing. We saw it was inevitable. You have to keep, when the show is going, you have to keep going and put your car out there and try and learn every single lap.
Let me see the sectors, guys, for
we expected them and they expected
Mercedes and Ferrari. I'm just putting away. Because I'm not sure now, but so yeah, before that there was Russell 25 for 125A for 3 sectors, so that's 4 tenths down. 29 to 21 for 2 tenths. 42 0. Yeah, they're losing 2 4. Wow. Oh, they're losing 4 about 8 tenths a lap. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. What's Leclerc doing? 25 8, 29 6.
That's going to slow him down for at least a lap or maybe 2. Yeah, Russell was on the station about 1.5 seconds. Russell was behind, and it didn't look like he had the speed to really catch him, but maybe he wasn't thinking about putting his team out of pressure just yet. So it's going to be fascinating to see how these two, or particularly how Kimi plays this. Kimi, obviously, young, can be erratic. Mistakes can we've seen him make mistakes in the past. He just had a tiny locker behind the safety car into that right corner, but he's so far.
Come on, let's secure that P3.
This is obviously new for Cadillac and their crew. Real time live pit stops. Just get it done safely. Rear right, a little bit sticky. Into the race ahead of Isaac. And that is it. Charles Leclerc has also got traffic to try and make his way through. He lost out the place to Marvin Lindblad. The hard tyre runners stayed out, didn't they? Steve Nielsen is managing director at Alpine. Steve, on my bingo card for this race, I didn't have Franco Colapinto's running second, but let's give him a shout out. What a great start for this race.
Yeah, really good Franco. I mean, obviously we benefited from the car.
What's your reporting in terms of tyre wear so far? All the teams, I'm sure, worried about grading in this race.
Yeah, we had a bit of grading this year. Safety car is under control on the home, so we'll see how far we can push it.
If you can hang on to a what does that mean in this early stages of the year?
It's everything to us. We've had a tough few months, and I don't want to just look at the moment, long way to go.
Steve, it's Anthony here. So who are you in this race today? Who's looking back?
George saying that one stop could be challenging, so they might have to pit again.
The way this race has gone so far, we're racing everybody. We'll be happy to push my luck as far as I'll go.
Brilliant. George Russell just got on the radio stage saying he thinks a one stop is going to be really tricky today. Do you concur?
We're probably all trying to do one stop, but let's see how it turns out.
Thanks, Steve. Speak to you in a little bit. Steve Nielsen for this weekend.
Thank you. But when you're trying to second guess without any data in front of us, obviously you know who they might be racing, but it's brilliant when people actually on the pit wall don't really know either. So, you know, these new regulations are opened up to anybody, but important to he's got the Haas behind him, but
Safety car's ending.
they're on new tyres, so it's a hard competition. I think with Haas, that's what they're really racing, isn't it?
This was Antonelli's pit stop, and then George Russell, and they trained for this to walk cruise.
Good stuff on the Mercedes, double stop.
Quite easily, Charles Leclerc comes in, they might have had to help George Russell a little bit as he came out. Charles Leclerc was coming in, and then Lewis Hamilton had just come out too.
Yeah, Hamilton's pit stop actually was quite a bit quicker than Russell. That's why he came out right behind him. It was close, but Russell just managed to hang on to that.
Safety cars coming in this lap, quickly the burning Collins.
Yeah, just a quick one, Crofty. Verstappen has also been told the target on this tyre is to get all the way to the end. It's going to be a lot of management, but that is the target.
Bloody hell, Verstappen's 13th.
For us, or for his competitors, or actually a genuine, but we're going to figure that out very quickly. Everyone does have
Verstappen's 13th.
another set put on if they need to get another safety car. And then very, very quickly, Colin Pinto and Ocon on that hard tyre. That is going to be a struggle for them at the restart. To hold positions are not losing lots and lots of time as faster cars come through.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. That 46 laps Max Verstappen would have to put in on the hard tyre, which is what George Russell and Kimi Antonelli managed on the hard tyre in Australia last weekend. So, Colin Pinto running P2, first Alpine driver to be running in the second position since they finished second and third with Gasly and Ocon in that West Sao Paulo Grand Prix in 2024. That's how much this current situation means to everyone at Edstone after their worst season since they were Coleman back in last year. Well, can they rebound back this weekend? They need to get this restart right, and maybe not fighting quite so hard. I'm not sure that Colin Pinto or Ocon are really racing against George Russell. But let us see how this goes now. Green flag, and we can go racing. Ocon is right behind Colin Pinto. He fancies a little overtake, trying to turn one. Colin Pinto closes him off. Antonelli is leading. Lawson's already got past Alonso at the restart. George Russell there going wide. That might give Lewis Hamilton some encouragement. Hamilton, Carlin too far back. Lindblad holds off Charles Leclerc for the time being, but Leclerc is gaining on Lindblad out of the corner, and you can see it now with Lewis Hamilton behind George Russell, and Armin Lindblad still keeping Charles Leclerc at bay. Colin Pinto.
Lewis from the inside.
Hamilton goes through.
Let's go, Lewis. Let's go.
By the hand, his attempt to get past the Alpine.
Yeah, George Russell, I think, put off by the car from him, locked up into turn 6.
Yeah, come on, Lewis, let's get past these lot.
Anticipated it, did the switchback, came back at him on the inside of the corner. Very good move and very wise from the 7-time world champion.
They were teammates here last year, Max Verstappen and Liam Lawson. They nearly got just as close as they were in the Red Bull hospitality area before the race. On the track there, Verstappen and Lawson almost banging wheels as they made their way through the right-hander. Hamilton right on the back here of Esteban Ocon in the hat. Antonelli leads from Colin Pinto. Ocon's under pressure. Down that back straight, active aero, dumping the drag, losing about 55% of the drag with that active aero.
Well done, Lewis. Well done, you've got a god from Leclerc now. Let's get out of the thingy.
Hamilton's got pressure grip, and he manages to stay ahead.
It looked to me that he didn't even have to use his boost button to get past Ocon there, so he's going to be fine down this main straight as now he targets with his better tyres, of course, and faster car. Franco Pinto.
Charles Leclerc in the background is making a move there on George Russell. I think Charles Leclerc has got ahead of George Russell, and he has. Whilst Hamilton's trying to go for the Alpine, Charles Leclerc's going for the Mercedes. He's moved up into 5th place here. This has been a much better restart for 2 Ferraris against George Russell. It's been a decent restart for Kimi Antonelli, who keeps out of the lead of this race.
Hamilton now just lining up Franco Pinto. What can he do on the exit here? He's got to get past this slightly slower car in him at this stage. We can start to focus on the race leader, Kimi Antonelli. That's his real fight right now, Hamilton, but brilliant move by Leclerc. And there goes Hamilton on the
well done,
turn 9.
Lewis.
Yeah, I think the Ferraris are getting more temperature in these hard tyres, probably after that safety car as well. We know more Mercedes later on, but this is the moment where Ferrari has to capitalise, and they are.
So you've got to hug him, you've got to treat him gently, but you've also got to give pace and you've got to make up places.
Lewis, 0.9 behind Antonelli.
Russell is struggling, but he will come back once he gets those tyres up to.
It looks like Lewis has got his tyres fired up. 0.6. Oh my heavens.
Making a move on Esteban Ocon. Russell just a little bit further back. Apologies there. Colin Pinto still ahead of Hamilton down the inside. Lindblad and Ollie Behrman. Well, it came as a great fight in Melbourne. They're doing it again. Lindblad stays ahead of Ollie Behrman. Hulkenberg, way more experienced than Robert. He's just sitting back waiting Lewis Hamilton now on Kimi Antonelli. Wow, has he made up some time on that last lap. And then there's Charles Leclerc trying to go round the outside of Franco Colapinto, who got picked off by Lewis Hamilton down at turn 8 when Hamilton did the same to George Russell in the sprint yesterday. Out of the corner, Charles Leclerc's got much better grip, and he puts that to good use, and he's up into third. Meanwhile, Verstappen on the tail of Gasly, and Liam Lawson still trying to scrap away with him.
That was very mature actually, into their not to repass.
Right, Hamilton's got a good gap, 2.6. Come on, let's go after Antonelli, Lewis, come on.
He's driving some race here, and I like to see that.
George Russell's got past Esteban Ocon, he's now dropped about 4 seconds, just over 4 seconds behind his teammate Kimi Antonelli, so he's lost quite a bit in that restart. Certainly behind the safety car, so far this is looking pretty comfortable for Kimi Antonelli. If being pretty comfortable means you're being pursued at high speed by a 7-time world champion.
Hamilton getting a little bit excited there. I can sense, I can read the body language of the car. He loves hunting down a race leader. That's where Hamilton...
Come on, Lewis, hunt him down, hunt him down.
He's got to be careful of squeezing those tyres a bit too hard, like he was in turn 11 and 12. What's going on here? Russell field on Colapinto.
Ah, bloody hell, his tyres down to warm up now.
Gasly on Hulkenberg, he's making a move into the hairpin too. Colapinto is down into 5th place.
By the way, Behrman may feel like he was squeezed out wide, perhaps, from Lindblad and through turn 14. There was, I think, a little bit of contact. We'll have to see if there's a replay later on. When or if this race calms down at the front. Oh yeah, they love it.
Two young British drivers, Ahmed Lindblad, driving for Racing Bulls, 18 years of old. Ollie Behrman, he always stays really at 20 in that particular battle. We're on board with Lewis Hamilton. The age, we shouldn't talk about age too much, but the age of 41, Lewis Hamilton, we're like least in the sprint.
He's doing well to keep him up with him. He's doing well. If they're gonna pit again, he must have destroyed the tires.
Out in front, Kimi Antonelli, youngest Grand Prix.
Come on, Lewis, go for him.
In the history of Formula One, he's got Lewis Hamilton right in his wing mirrors, but I think he's judging the pace pretty well so far in this race.
He's driving brilliantly so far. He hasn't lost his cool yet, and he's using the speed of his car where he can, where he knows he can keep the Ferrari at bay. But Lewis Hamilton not giving up here whatsoever. Antonelli got to be careful. Both of them have to be very careful not to just over push the car, and then that might allow Leclerc and Russell to come back at them later on, because it looks like they're driving a bit more strategic race right now and a bit more.
Yeah, I think he's got into the air soon.
Navigating way through turn 14. The racing behind him is at Verstappen as well.
He's caught up to this particular pack. George Russell, fastest man on track. He needs to hunt down his teammates' lead. Max Verstappen
Yellow flags.
has Ahmed Lindblad in his sights. Max Verstappen in the turn 1 makes a much better fist of it on the hard tyre than he did on the soft tyre. We've got some double waved yellows currently in the final part of the lap, so I wonder, there's a bit of debris, and maybe Perez and Alonso had a bit of a moment down there, which we shall see momentarily, but definitely double waved yellows are out in force. On lap 8,
Just do a visual safety car.
the Chinese Grand Prix, because Kimi Antonelli leads from Lewis Hamilton. We've had a safety car after
I want to see the sector times.
Mark Stroll going off the track and stopping. That allows a lot of the runners to come in and change tyres. Top 4 did that. Struggling a bit with the batteries, Lewis Hamilton out there for recent radio messages. Colapinto, that man Ocon didn't come into the pits. Lindblad didn't come into the pits. Neither did Hulkenberg or Fernando Alonso. And we lost before the start Albon with hydraulics issue. Bortoletto, for a reason we don't know yet, electrical issues for Norris and Piastri. As in the distance, I'm looking there down the straight to see a right old tussle into the hairpin. And that was Pierre Gasly. It is it's Franco Colapinto and then Pierre Gasly. 2 Alpines, 2 Hasses on the inside of this corner. Colapinto ahead of Esteban Ocon, and behind these two, Ollie Behrman ahead of Pierre Gasly.
Definitely fighting the Hasses today. Yeah, the Alpines.
20 laps in.
Here comes Ocon again.
job though. Running currently fit, was running as high as P2. And I mentioned that we lost the two McLarens, Piastri and Norris. First time we've had a double not start for both cars from McLaren in Indianapolis 2005. And just into the hairpin, he's looking for a way around up on it. He's switching around, he can't quite get past.
Come on, give Lewis the power he needs.
The move of Pierre Gasly. So he's going to come and join this fight in just a few moments' time. And Gasly, I think, has been noted for moving under braking.
That was close.
Yeah.
Cockpit, I could see that one coming and purposely ran his car wide through the flat-out corner of turn 7, and that really caused Ocon out. He was, preparing for the move. Cockpit read that very well, but took it right to the limit. All this time, Max Verstappen.
I think Lewis has got it because he's pulled away from Charles a bit more. Lewis is there, he's a second. Maybe, I think definitely they'll have to pit again. And if once they pit again, I think he has a great chance. Bloody, what the hell is happening here? Verstappen's ninth. Ocon and Bowman going left and down for flipping 6th and 7th. "36 laps left, guys. A long way to go." Lewis has done a fantastic job of keeping Charles behind. His age. You know, Charles, the young chick. At least show the there you can see his battery there. Come on, Charles, keep him behind. Come on, Charles. For God's sake, what the flip are we doing here, man? Show the front runners, man. Absolute taking the mick, man. You're making me angry, man. Fasting as well. Yeah, show the front runners, man. Max Verstappen is 7th place. McLaren Norris, Piastri out. Hamilton's there. I think Antonelli's pacing himself as well. Come on, Leclerc, keep him behind. Come on, Leclerc, you got a good gap there. Well done, keep him. So Russell's got no battery and Leclerc's got enough, so I like this graphic, I love it. Well done, Leclerc, keep him behind. When he comes, it's reloading now.
where really the teammate Charles Leclerc and then George Russell pulling Leclerc under all sorts of pressure.
Yeah, I think what Russell does here is Leclerc to continue catching on his teammate because they all have overtake mode available.
Right, Gasly said this wasn't fair.
Standing down inside, and he started to run out wide inside. I think that was fair.
No, I think he meant the Hassans.
Oh, that's it, yeah. That was just, not that. He does mean this because there was contact. Yeah, there was contact. To be fair, I didn't see the contact until the onboard, so yeah, get rid of that. You shouldn't really be seeing cars hit each other. I know we were watching the last weekend, that was very much on the
Go to the bias, as they say. This weekend. Right, 22 lap. Well, lap 22 out of 56 has been completed. Kimi Antonelli still 2 seconds clear of Lewis Hamilton in a Mercedes. I think he's more benign than the tyres and manages to nurse those tyres, and they get those hard compound tyres all the way through to the end of the race, making a one-stopper and do that 46 lap stint that they managed last week in Australia.
This will be tough for anyone planning to do a one-stopper. So in my personal opinion, and I know this track and so on the tyres. It will be on everyone's mind right now that it's really tough.
I think it's racing.
Yeah, it's true.
I promise I'll get better. Don't worry, I'll come back. As we said to Pierre Gasly. In the Ferrari now, making their way for the leading group up towards turn 11.
Drivers have to do with these new cars that are shorter by 20 centimetres, narrower by 10 centimetres, they're lighter by 30 kilos.
Right, Lewis, you need to push it a bit more now because Leclerc's closer now.
So, no McLarens in this race. The previous double did not start. 2 cars was Indianapolis 2005 for obvious reasons.
Yeah, he's pushed away now a bit, Lewis. Come on, Lewis. He's been taking care of his tyres. We need to push a bit more now. Come on.
Right, Lando, what can you tell us about the issue?
Obviously we got race. Yeah, just frustrating.
Come on, Lewis. Leclerc's under pressure as well now. So come on. Come on, play foot down. I'm not even looking after your tyres. Come on.
Yeah, disappointing my first non-start in Formula 1. So, yeah, tough to take.
What do you know about the issue with the team, though?
I'm not sure exactly. I'd probably say an hour or so before going out. I was warming up and getting ready to go dive and then find out about it. So I'm not sure more than that.
Just minding me, have they identified it enough to know what to do before they feel going through the process?
No, I think
Yeah, that's a good cup, Lewis.
I don't think they know it's just that and they need to know exactly what it is, why it happens, and exactly trying to figure out.
Such disappointment for Lando Norris. Lewis Hamilton has just been passed by Charles Leclerc and George Russell. That is getting in on the act as well. We were thinking while we were hearing Lando Norris that our Ferrari is going to engineer a swap of positions because Leclerc seemed to be the fastest for that Ferrari, but Hamilton looks like going to find this one back again.
Yeah, I thought that these two were going to really fight it hard. Look at that. Well, contact was contact. They got close on this evidence of tarmac yesterday, and Leclerc complained about that at the time. This gives Russell a chance now, down towards turn 6 dropping.
And Lewis Hamilton has the inside line, which might just save it for the moment from George Russell as wide as he possibly can. And Russell is just chomping at the bit here to try and faster Ferrari. Leclerc is the faster Ferrari. He's starting to sail away a little bit. Hamilton really struggling for rear grip.
Yeah, I think that early attempt that he made on Kimi Antonelli might be quite him right now. It's been can't hang on to his teammate. I was expecting the phone call from Leclerc to say, come on guys, I'm a big figure here, it's time to let me die. We've got to try to at least beat one of the safeties today. And here comes Russell behind Lewis Hamilton now.
Around the final corners, 11, 12, 13.
Flipping hell.
Back straight. Hamilton has got a decent advantage in terms of kilometres over George Russell. They may be still a bit too much battery earlier on in the lap. He hasn't got enough of that energy to actually split 50-50 with the fucking engine.
Come on, Lewis, let's get it, Charles. Come on. So Antonelli's gone out, man. He's like 4 points ahead. You got Lewis and Hamilton, Leclerc, Hamilton, and Russell. Come on, Lewis, get him, come on. I think Lewis pushed a bit too hard on the restart. No wonder Charles is calling up. Well done, Lewis. For the time being, yeah. This is great racing from Ferrari. Come on, Lewis is close. Just stay with them. Come on, Lewis, man. Can we show the front runners, please? Let's have a battle between you and Charles. Get that third place off him.
To gain that momentum, gain that sort of breathing space. They are controlling that tyre. While they're just able to make sure that he's not suffering any weight and he can reach the other race.
Two seconds, Bernie. George Russell fancies second place in this race. Charles Leclerc might be powerless on this occasion to stop him, and it looks like he is. It's Mercedes back 1 and 2. Antonelli over Russell, and he gets past Charles Leclerc. Bernie, back to you.
Yeah, so quick one on that was, should Ferrari have brought in two quarters? If they had stationed and just tried to get on the Antonelli, would that have ended in a slightly better result than what we're seeing now? The next point is, if we get another safety car in this race, I think everyone that is currently on a hard tyre, which is pretty much a tyre field, should take it and get a fresh car to set off. Are seeing with that sort of tyre that they're overtaking pace.
Very much so. They are ready to the Antonelli. I think he has a big window down to Colin Bear.
Alright, come on, Lewis, let's get Charles, come on.
Into the pits. His teammate fifth in this race as well. Was classified last year in China.
Just to explain what Bernard said there about the fact that this pack here that we're watching is losing around about 7 to 8 tenths of that fighting window and using their boost pump. Now, using your boost pump will help you overtake the car from front and dice it out as well, but it will definitely lose you anywhere up to 7 or 8 tenths of that by using your battery in the wrong part of the track. Your car, the system learns where the best places are to deploy the battery energy around the back. So the other curves not to be have, the drivers are told where and when to use it. It's the same kind of thing.
Oh, this is Charles. I think it was Lewis.
The system, you lose out on lap time, and that's why Kimi.
I think 21 laps gone. Need some bloody tissue as well.
Let's give you the analogy that Charles Leclerc was referring to Mario Kart. I think the Ferrari engineers with Mario Kart pictures on the dashboard, the steering wheel. You know, you play Mario Kart with me. When I get to my shot, I use it straight away, even if there's a forward going, which is why I go wide and then losing 4 places. The simple analogy there.
Guys, please smash the like button and subscribe as well. Alright.
Easy well, and if we hadn't said you've been spending all with you before the bump stands as well. And you know what, I hang on to that this car. Sure,
Charles is pushing cleanly, so if Lewis cleanly Lewis is taking the nice easy route, you can see Charles taking these shortcuts, so he's killing his times.
Just let the system take care of things. Because computers are clever than us being humans. That's why he's going so much quicker. Don't mess with the system. But you know what? Last year, look how close similar these guys are at lap times. I would say we couldn't have seen them overtake the two drivers here than last year's regulations. Not just with the others. No, it wouldn't have been enough. The same set of tyres, same line. So it's allowed to repair things a bit of braking. That's not allowed. But it has allowed these regulations, the drivers to.
Guys, I'm coming back with some tissue. Come on, Lewis. Let's get him, man. Come on, Lewis, you're closer, brother. Come on.
The hard tyre starts to come
can't see, I'm going to play copyright. Wow, non-stop.
Interesting. So it's about time that the medium tyre will do the rest of the race. Was first in, but now Alonso's in. Can't wait to get off these tyres. They are pretty worn out on his racing balls. Antonelli continuing the front. George Russell starting to nibble into his lead. Rodney, Mr. Russell might have to be a bit more patient and tries to hunt down.
Seconds to try and make up, but as mentioned, Lance Stroll is also out of this race. Suspected battery issue for why he came to a halt in turn one, and why we had the safety car. Benny Collins to you.
Colin Hendricks has been in the pit as well there for these drivers have stopped in the first season on the night of 22 on this current tyre, and we have 22, 23 to go. So this would be an optimum point to stop and fit another hard tyre for anyone that wants to revert to that plan C or 2 stop that we heard Ferrari discuss. They do have a nice big window back to Ollie Behrman in order to come in. They would come in behind him, but to come in and have much fresher tyres to potentially come past. And speaking of Ollie Behrman, he is
Come on, Louise.
exceptionally well. I think Verstappen, a little bit quicker almost than one lap with Verstappen.
Oh, Bernie, I'm going to just come in there. Not Ollie Bear, but Esteban Ocon in the other half. So they're coming together, potentially with.
It was Gasly.
Yeah, I think Gasly in the Alpine, but he's got bodywork damage on that large board. And we've had one safety car. Are we going to get another? And debris is on the track. There's Pierre Gasly looking to see what damage. Colin Pinto there. Well, that would make sense because Colin Pinto just missed, of course. Comes out of the pits. Here's Esteban Ocon coming at him into turn one at a rate of knots. Colin Pinto just goes a bit wide on colder tyres. Now tries to close off the gap.
Didn't see him. He didn't see him.
Didn't see him coming. Oh dear. That's going to ruin his race. Going to ruin Ocon's race.
Come on, Louise, let's get Charles, come on.
Alonso's coming in. Replay again.
I can see what Ocon was trying to do. No, it's a bit too late.
Colin Pinto's gone.
No, only it was Colin Pinto's on full time trying to get back to the apex. Ocon sees what's happening and tries to back out a bit too late. And just the gap was there and it was starting to close, and then just it's a hard corner to be fair to Esteban. It's a hard corner to try and back out. It's just so laterally limited under the braking that that's for me that's a racing incident. And Colin Pinto he just didn't see it. He was just trying to get back onto the racing line, and it's quite often that is the racing line. To be fair to Franco, is you can have a very wide late turn into turn 2. Yeah, okay, so that's how I saw it, but I can't. It wasn't a huge miscalculation on his part, but I'm glad that he's put his hand up there. But I still think it was a racing incident.
Fernando Alonso retiring from this Chinese Grand Prix. His second retirement in 2 years. And he retired from the race last year. So that's 6 down, and 16 is still running. Esteban Ocon is right at the back. Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas just ahead of him. Meanwhile, quite not the fastest lap for George Russell, but in terms of how quickly is he closing the gap on Kimi Antonelli, only by about 0.2 seconds, 1.5 tenths on lap 34, a little bit more on lap 33, and a few milliseconds on lap 32. Antonelli's got quite a big buffer, but there is still a lot.
Russell was caught him by 4 tenths over the last 2 laps, so Antonelli is the best case scenario when you've got a clear track in front, no one to pressure you from behind, ride how you want to drive.
No power. Fear, give me something. Don't be usable. La cámara lost photo, but no power. Negative, we are looking into that.
Lewis has been saying this constantly through this race, that he's got no power, more power. So about 8 tenths of a second behind his teammate. It was at the end of the last lap. That's another long up there. Charles Leclerc, who's gone even wider this time
Oh, Charles has gone wide.
And whilst he might have power issues, Lewis Hamilton, his teammate has just handed third place back to him.
But if he does lack power, Hamilton on the exit of this corner, this is the one he talked about, does that give Leclerc the opportunity to have another go around the outside, potentially into turn one. He's thinking about it, he's going to try it.
But he is going to try it. The crowd roaring, the two Ferraris around here.
Well done, Lewis. Well done, Lewis. Well done. Well done.
Keep ahead. There's your battery.
Battery power, man, use it.
Graphics. Hamilton's got just a smidge more power at his disposal, and he is using it to very good effect to stay ahead.
Yeah, the two Ferraris, as you'd expect as well, between the two of them, very evenly matched. And Hamilton was just sitting there lurking in the background with Charles, complaining obviously about his deployment strategy. The team are working on that to try and optimise things further, but that is not what Charles Leclerc or Ferrari needed to his race performance. So I was just under the question, what do you do here if you're Ferrari? With their strategy, they've floated the idea of two-stop strategy, then as I read into that, their plan C, menu of options of strategy.
Yeah, Lewis is pulling away now. Well done. Come on, Lewis, peg away.
And I went down to Ferrari. This was their advice to me today, Crofty.
Charles is right. It looks a bit rough.
Unknown notes, we haven't had much of our tyre running. Safety car will lead to a two-stop, or if we get grading on the hards, here comes Charles Leclerc. It's a bit too far back and almost going into the back of his teammate, who slowed down to almost a standstill, it looked like, as we were riding on board.
I take it they can talk about that.
Charles has used most of his boost, so Lewis has got a bit more now.
Might try something different.
Yeah, well done, Lewis. Well done.
They don't want to go, but yeah, safety car will lead to a two-stop.
Come on, Lewis. Come on. That's it. Use now. Move it. Come on.
About that two-stop. Esteban Ocon has got a 10-second time penalty for causing a collision with Franco Colapinto.
Yeah, it's such a shame for Colapinto because it has been driving an excellent race today. I thought very mature race, and like that wasn't his fault at all. As he came out of the pits there. Speaking of that type round, you can see a very narrow band on the left front of Charles Leclerc.
Charles Leclerc is dropping up, isn't it?
That's going to be hurting in corners like this one here in turn 8, so it just causes a bit of extra understeer. You start rolling around on the back. Do a better job of looking after these tyres.
I hate this bloody flu, man.
Great shot, good comparison as the two cars come towards.
Lewis is tired of spotter.
As much as we love the wheel-to-wheel racing, these points are important. From Melbourne, they had a third and fourth. As it stands at the moment, they're looking pretty good for a third and fourth. Again, Behrman is a long way behind. At some stage, do you call off the fight just to protect this 3 and 4 and make sure that there's no coming together, or they don't throw away anything unnecessarily?
I think you've got to let them race, but race fairly, and I think you've got to trust both of your drivers. And so far, they've been very close. They were yesterday as well. I think they take.
Charles is using more of his boost. He's got nothing now, and Lewis has got more now.
Cars around him, and I think
Well done, Lewis. Well done, Lewis.
They want a Ferrari at Hamilton. They might do race and put the trust in them.
Just watching the battery graphics there with Charles Leclerc with that overtake, that extra half a megajoule, he's down about 3% by the time he gets into turn 1. Hamilton, about 25%. That's what you're talking about. You've got that at your disposal. You are going to use so much more of your energy in using that overtake that you might pay for it later in the lap.
It allows you. The main thing with the overtake is the fact that you can have a higher, by regulation, are allowed a higher top speed. And that, if you so wish to use your spot to get you to that higher top speed, that's really where you can make huge.
Well done, Lewis. 8 tenths.
Because it's not the best way.
His final corner here, Lewis is doing really well.
You will have a slower lap time because of it.
As your race leader, Kimi Antonelli, just heading down towards the hairpin. We haven't seen much of it because it's been so far out in front. Just under 7 seconds, the gap now to George Russell, continually lap after lap, sets the new fastest laps. Then there's this battle, Hamilton, Leclerc, the third and fourth, the long gap then back to Ollie Behrman, running in fifth.
Yeah, when it comes to the corners, Lewis is doing really well.
Lawson and Isaac Hadjar.
He's going to kill his tyres over his straight, Charles.
One remaining points position for Williams. And given the start to the season that Williams have had, to come away from China to the point actually will be cause for a lot of smiles down the road. Well, this, of course, the anniversary of Carlos Sainz's debut in Formula One, same race in Australia as Max Verstappen 11 years ago. We have lost Albon and Bortoletto. We didn't see either of those two, nor Norris and Piastri before the start. We've lost Stroll, and we've lost Alonso, who's been talking to the media in the interview area, saying that he was starting to lose feeling in his hands. The vibrations on his car were so severe, he was just starting to lose feeling, hence he came in and retired the car. They go Aston Martin to Japan and on the home track next time out, hoping for some upgrades to give their drivers more feeling, less vibrations, and maybe a chance to get to the end of the race, which they haven't done so far this season.
I think Leclerc is thinking about making a move on Hamilton down into turn 14 this time around, probably making an adjustment in steering wheel through turn 7 and turn 8. It's the Ferrari group look at potential new set of tyres to go on to at least one of their cars. Here comes Leclerc, let's see what he does.
They've got enough of a gap to pit Hamilton and Leclerc and stay out ahead of Ollie Behrman. You called it, Ant. Charles Leclerc looks like he's delivered it, Anthony Davidson, into the hairpin. Charles Leclerc goes past Lewis Hamilton, who I think saw it coming and is now trying to find his way back. And is just going to lose out going into the final corner. Charles Leclerc back up into third place.
That was a well-planned move by Leclerc. What's Hamilton going to do in towards turn 1? He's naturally going to be
Look how he's
faster.
gaining, but not quite gaining enough. But as the corner then evolves, Hamilton can continue.
Well done, Lewis.
And he's got Charles Leclerc back. Leclerc used the battery power at his disposal, but in doing so left himself vulnerable into turn 1, and that's why Lewis Hamilton got back ahead. But now Charles Leclerc on the run down to the next heavy braking zone might fancy his chances of a crossover here. The old switcheroo, as they sometimes call it, but Hamilton stays ahead.
As they sometimes call
This is great racing, I can't lie. He never loses, my guy. This is top racing.
And this is one thing I like about these new regulations, that you can follow so much closer through corners like this. It just opens up the opportunity to have a go somewhere else on the track.
Meanwhile, Isaac Hadjar is right on the tail of Liam Lawson in the racing bulls. Hadjar, who's been on his tyres for 29 laps, and Lawson has been on them for 30 laps. We're going to see some more pit stops in this race, I wonder. What have we got here? Hamilton with the overtake at his disposal. Just more energy, because going through the detection point on this lap, he would have been behind Charles Leclerc, so that overtake remains with him for the whole of the lap. So that helps him in defence, not necessarily overtake. As the nearest car to the around about 10 seconds ahead.
And it will be Charles Leclerc that gets that overtake mode active just now, because he's within that second. Meanwhile, Russell has been gradually closing in on Kimi Antonelli. It was, I looked at it at the time, when he got past the last row, so Leclerc, it was 7.8 seconds. It's now down to 6.3.
Yeah, he was chipping away 2 tenths a lap. He took half a second out the last lap. But I think Antonelli has had to get past both Perez and Bottas, and the flags being waved at.
Right, Hamilton. So, guys, Antonelli also got discount.
Ferrari mechanics looking at some tyres. No sign of any of that. They're just thinking, if there is a safety car, you never know what might happen. Everything needs to be ready. Just to underline how much this means to Hamilton, this P3 Grand Prix. Of course, he had the China Sprint win last year. He had a podium as well, but they were disqualified from that, weren't they? And then since then, no Ferrari podium. Still for Hamilton. So that's what it means for him to hang on to this P3. His tyres are starting to open up with the graining. He is reporting understeer, so we'll see how that one goes. As for Arvid Lindblad,
2 seconds, Tim.
Yeah.
Well done, Charles.
I'm glad.
Yeah, no, fair play. Fair play, it is a good ball, man.
it might be a case of
Charles is a future world champion for sure, man.
because he's still on hard tyres.
Antonelli and Russell have played off. Hamilton v Leclerc. Obviously Hamilton, my guy, so I want Hamilton to get P3, but it's a really good ball. And since like Charles is like a really he's No, he's not a dirty driver, is he, Charles? He's a good driver. I like him. He's hard, but he's not dirty like Verstappen. Verstappen will push it off the road. Yeah, this is a fantastic battle. Fair play to Hamilton and Russell. Leclerc. They can overtake Bowman though. Alright, the gap's 1.5 seconds now. So I don't know if they've... This is a fantastic battle. Yeah, fantastic battle.
Yeah, I think strong race here. Kid, tyres very well. I think now that's making sense.
Race leader, Antonelli. Yeah, it's very good race second to across now. Just battling the two cab left.
Well, go for it. Better pay him. You got 16 laps left. Hunt him down.
Once again, and I know the tyre compounds have got a little bit harder this year, and that's a phenomenal effort here at Czech.
But if that tyre just gets to that cliff of grip, because the compound itself is only
I think he's settled down now between Hamilton and Leclerc. Hamilton's doing a good job.
down the gauge of that compound, you get dangerously close to
I said that, but it's just... Brother, you flipping 7.5 seconds behind in front of me on about.
And that's an advantage for half a second on the previous lap. Now lost that time to Muby Anwar, so it's back up to about 7.5 seconds.
Almost as if Russell's had a harder time. Solid drive, so far.
Well done to Antonelli, he's doing a really good job.
Mentally as well, I can tell he's frustrated by the traffic, but he's not worried by it. So he's just passing on. I think that message was passing on to Bono saying, don't worry about the gap to come down with me and George. I'm only losing this time due to the traffic.
His career best finish with the second place in Melbourne for the Antonelli, which was his third podium in the last 5 or 3, and he got a second in the South Albo sprint with that time as well. Middle part of last year, he's really shown his potential, and his downward to pole yesterday, the youngest Grand Prix pole holder, and
12 laps to go, guys.
yes, record holder, that's outcomes are in Librads, just like the previous record holder. Looks like he's going to celebrate winning that record by going on to take the Grand Prix win as well. Hulkenberg, meanwhile, on the track, trying to get some overtaking down in the Audi. That looks pretty good. Esteban Ocon is now behind him with that 10-second time penalty. Don't forget to serve particularly at the end of this race. Right, Benny Collins, to you.
Yeah, we're just going to come in there. You see Antonelli.
I need tissue, man.
Already mentioned. Quite dangerous for these leaders. They have to go offline. They will it's not for the car that's enough time to move on to that dirty stuff. So what is very boring, hard tires, there's always a risk at this end of the stage of the race with those lap cars. And you can see that both Mercedes making away from these lap cars, that gap is opening and closing ever so slightly. The Ferrari tire still looks good to me. I think that will make it to the end of the race. They just need to be on top of it now over the other side of the car. Like I said, I think the majority of these out there are just stop on the medium tire and need to take that full fresh stuff.
And so we've got the battle, predicted battle for 6 between Max Verstappen and Pierre Gasly. Verstappen still have his sights set on Ollie Bevan, but Bevan maintaining that advantage of about 2.2 seconds and has done for the last few laps as Antonelli now bangs it fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, so Antonelli definitely proving what we thought earlier on, that he still does have 2 inches left in his tyres, and he's got the speed to more than match his teammate. I was expecting that Russell just steadily chip away himself to the back of him, but get back to Europe again. So key stage with just over 10 laps. Really have to start working at minimising mistakes, which so
Mustafa's in trouble. What's happened?
In the box on the left-hand side of your screen, Jacques Villeneuve has sharp left. It's the latest to Jacques Villeneuve is saying that we've not seen Kimi Antonelli out in front of the Grand Prix. We've seen some great performances from him, but he's been making his way through the field, and it'll be interesting. Verstappen goes a lot slower than you would expect. It looks like he is. Oh no! It's going to be a retirement. His first ever in Shanghai. Can he though get the car posed on power? And these are teething troubles in the early stages of Red Bull.
10 laps.
They've done an impressive job to get this engine built from scratch, and they're new.
So guys, how are we feeling?
But they had an issue with the power units in Australia. It caused Isaac Hatcher to retire. It could be a power unit issue from Max Verstappen here. It could be a battery issue. It could be hydraulics. We don't know, but it's certainly not a mechanical issue.
There'll be many drivers and teams who think that pretty much everyone having to come in with just it looks like he does have enough electrical power just about.
I hate this flu.
There's your race leader, Muby Anwar. Kept very much out of the way. Very respectfully out of the way too. Carlos Sainz moves up in the ninth place. Another Pinto back up into the points. Then the full-time champion. Let's head down to Max Verstappen. Gets out of this Red Bull car. Massive disappointment for him. Apologise to him.
Yes, Lewis is taking it easy now. Very, very good start. I qualified his teammate in qualifying and finished ahead of him as well. There's going to be really good battles between Charles and Lewis throughout the season. I predicted it now.
Lost, I should say, 6 drivers from this race. One of them didn't start. He is Oscar Piastri. He's from Rich Williams.
Oh, Oscar. I mean, you got third this time. The last time. Don't be aware of the issue that happened back to the race. It does give you a chance to see what others are doing, right? How it's going. I mean, it's been a while since I've watched 2 F1 races. Yeah, the Ferrari is pretty quick at the moment.
Oscar Piastri, sorry, Esteban Ocon over here. Oscar Piastri is coming to service.
Last year was a bad season for Lewis, but I said it from the start, we have to improve. He's my guy, we have to improve.
Sticking out that holds that large ball in place. Yeah, probably for safety they've had to. There are bomb cutters that they're using to take that off. But a very unled one.
But needed was a bigger hammer in there as well.
You can tell Lewis is taking it easy.
You can see the state of the marbles from the white trim on the Ferrari and Lewis Hamilton's.
8 laps left, guys.
Yeah, they're really starting to suffer this late on in the Grand Prix, and possible. You know, I thought it was overly ambitious to run these tyres for as long as they have, but they've all committed to it, and that's testament to the learning they had yesterday, all the drivers learning how to drive around this very punchy racetrack.
Driver of the day closes in 6 laps. I am expecting a landslide today, but you never know, Ted Kravitz. Anna Norris, Alex Albon, Cameron Boston. Yeah, they're patience. Yes. Patience of the day. It's giving what's going to go on in the last point today position? Well, Franco Colapinto is actually catching Carlos Sainz very, very quickly, and it looks like. No, I thought Lindblad would actually manage to close up to Sainz, but that's really affected quite badly Hulkenberg.
6 laps left, guys. After this, very proud with Lewis today. For flip's sake, the street be flew, man. Can he take
Is this the start of the relaxation period? Is this the thing you start to think about win a bit when you hear every single noise on the car and think, no, let's rock now?
Yeah, you know, he had issues qualifying lap yesterday. Russell obviously had issues during qualifying, and nobody's immune.
I need to ask.
Especially early on in the new regulations of cars, so they would have seen, fully aware of the fact that 2 McLarens.
Yeah, 6 laps left, guys.
Fully aware of their own team's ability as well. So yes, you very much are enjoying the moment because it's a beautiful place to be. With over 9 seconds over your closest competitor, and the gap continues to grow. It's amazing. Everything just works in the zone. The zone's like being sort of, and things just happen, and just so one with the car. It is beautiful, but at the same time, you're ever so worried about mechanical reliability on your equipment.
And there's Bono, his race engineer. He knows what it's like to win a Grand Prix or 2. That great relationship with Lewis Hamilton over the years. And this looks like the start of yet another successful winning partnership and with another driver. The car is Franco Colapinto. Colapinto closing in on Carlos Sainz. Rear tyres, and we're on board with our race leader now. It's Carlos Sainz just ahead. Bernie Collins to you.
Yeah, I was just going to come in there. That message to George Russell from the pit wall will not have allowed Bono any rest because they've obviously put it up to see a black ball. But George Russell is now suddenly 3/10 a lap off the pace. So with still 5 laps to go in this race, are these tyres in this very, very long stint going to be okay? Big question mark.
5 laps left, guys.
Sam, what do you think? Have a good look at the front left there, which is normally the limiting factor around here.
Yeah, you can just see on the inside shoulder, having picked up the marbles, they move up the inside shoulder, get flicked away as he goes through that long right-hander.
5 laps left.
That's your team on it. That I almost forgot, but no, I won't. Oh, it's a third slot moving. Science just making waves.
Science making way. Do you know what? Europe 22% Anthony, 19% Hamilton, 10% Colapinto.
Yeah, but come on, Behrman's got to be in there as well. No, what a cracking race he's doing today. Gasly's doing well. So many drivers have really.
How far back is Lewis from...
today, but I do think no more so than Kimi Antonelli. The pressure he's had, such a young driver, he's had George Russell right there. Look, there he is on screen. He's been helping him the whole race pretty much, but Antonelli in a fair fight, has pulled away more than 2.5 seconds now to his more experienced teammate.
George Russell with his rear tyres going. So the first 2 parts of that finish was 4/10 faster than Kimi Antonelli. It stayed 4/10 faster. Gap now at 9 seconds. I mean, George Russell is a fine driver. He has got a big margin to make up. The tyres are going off. Kimi Antonelli and Mick Bonington on the edge. And he did he did have the advantage that Kimi, seeing the fight happen behind him, the 2 Ferraris and his teammate Russell. And at that point, he could just drive to the tyre. He didn't overstress it, overslide it, and the last time I could see that he was just driving the car as much on rails as he possibly could, not oversliding, which, to be fair, he is often guilty of. So he's learning, he's adapting the whole time, and this is a very important, it's a valuable day in internet today. He would have learned more in this.
Let's watch Lewis v. Leclerc.
In his own ability, and that confidence you get from having put together a race like this today goes such a long way.
Certainly does. Maybe lapping Colin Bento and Sainz might have slowed him down a bit. There's no sign of Antonelli slowing down and George Russell making inroads into his advantage on this lap. A lock up there from Charles Leclerc. He has put some punishment over the 41 laps through those tyres.
Yeah, I think
This is a great battle. I'm watching it back again.
he really enjoyed his seconds, though, right? He really enjoyed the fight, not just with George, but his own teammate as well, and now sits 3.8 seconds behind Hamilton. And that might be a result of that extra tyre wear that he's got. I picked up the fact he had more. His tyres looked a little bit unhappy earlier on, and at this stage, Hamilton, he's driven the better.
This is top notch racing. This.
He had to do on the
I missed this.
hard tyres, so he was, as always,
When Charles got him back.
and he knows better than most out there, better than anyone, how to get the best out of his tyres in that stage. So, yeah, Leclerc gave it a good go. They committed to that one stop.
6 wins for Lewis Hamilton here in Shanghai. Go back to 2013 for the last time he finished 3rd here. He is on course for a 10th podium finish here in Shanghai. That's a circuit record. No other driver has done 10. This could be one of the most special podiums of his 203 podium career. The first for Ferrari, signed for Ferrari, wanting to lead the Scuderia.
Nah, he's gonna get more podiums because the miles clear up McLaren.
So much turned out is Kimi Antonelli, who's gone off at the hairpin. So Kimi Antonelli with a 9.5 second lead, seemingly comfortable out in front, has had a look up, has managed to keep going, and that gap now will come down even more to about 7.5 seconds. He doesn't want to
Kimi Antonelli went off.
3 laps to go.
Yeah, there's no traffic around him. We've already seen a massive lock-up from Leclerc, so we know things get trickier, and it's as easy as that. The crowd near the background in disbelief as they see the race leader go off the circuit. Leclerc did it lap 4, and this is starting to get very tough for all the drivers. Keep your heads together, Kimi Antonelli. That 9-second lead now down to 7.4.
Terminating, so let's just get this thing home.
And that's where I love this relationship between the multiple championship and race winning engineer Peter Bonington and this young protege he has. Such raw talent, but obviously it comes with some excitement at points, and that's he needs someone like Bono right now.
He's a dead pants to come in this situation. It's not like that. It's exactly what you need. Charles Leclerc is also having lock-up incidents as well. He's been told just calm. He's Antonelli can ease off by about a second and a half lap here and still win this quite comfortably. But it's when you start easing off, other problems arise as a result. He's much more cautious into turn 14 this time around.
This is where the more
Oh
experienced
my god, the final 2 laps. Antonelli, Russell, Hamilton, Leclerc, Berman, Gasly, Lawson, Hadjar.
just race. You don't have to be pulling away from your rivals the entire
Solid race from Hamilton. He's going to get more podiums in the future for sure. Lewis, well done to the Leclerc, well, great battle. Just need to improve that power unit now.
And they want the ego, they want to flatter that, and at all times be faster than their competition. But that's what I'm just saying. You've done a brilliant job. Get home. No heroics.
Meanwhile, there is a battle going on for ninth place out here. Kimi Antonelli's going to bring it home. He's got a lap and a half to go. Still for 5 miles. And Colin Pinto is chasing down Carlos Sainz a little bit further behind. Sainz is really starting to struggle. 44 laps on those tyres, 21 laps for medium for Franco Colin Pinto. That's going right to the line. Hamilton is a 3.5 second gap. Back to Charles Leclerc as he hunts down his first podium for Ferrari. Ollie Behrman, who finished 7th at the opening Grand Prix of the season, is on to finish 5th for Haas here, where they finished last year with Esteban Ocon. Pierre Gasly picking up 8 points currently at 4 Alpine in 6th place. Liam Lawson.
Final lap, guys, coming up. Solid race from Lewis. Well done, so proud of him. His first podium for Ferrari. Right, guys, I'll see you in 2 weeks' time for Japan. It's Japan 25th, isn't it? It's like next week. Another bloody morning one. Final lap, guys. Guys, we will call it. Well done to Kimi Antonelli, well done to Russell, well done to Ferrari. First podium for Hamilton, and many more to come. But thank you for watching, guys. Smash that subscribe, I'll see you next time.